As a player, you literally do nothing. I guess you can make these hollow buildings now, so you can make little pretty buildings on your stuff if you want that do literally nothing right now, but might in the future get some retrospective access to stuff that they should have right now. But they release ways for you to spend money, like these hollow buildings, for the actual mechanic that the hollow building is supposed to do isn't in the game yet, and you're still gonna spend money on it. Are you high? Why would you do that? Hey, what's up? So normally I'll do these Earth 2 month reviews at the beginning of the next month. So like normally I would do September's review at the beginning of October. But New World is coming out and I'm going to be playing that a lot. So I don't know how much time I'm really going to have to be going over all this stuff because honestly, I'm going to be hard no-lifing that game. So I'm going to go over these changes today and we're going to talk about these 3 articles that they have up on their website and then also the changes that they have in their updates. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, so we had previously already talked about the EPLs, but I'm going to go over them again. So new Earth 2 property locator EPL feature added. Users can now upgrade and rename their property's EPL. Wow, amazing. So basically, this is just the ability to name your property whatever you want. It doesn't really do much else. And then you pay for that privilege. I guess you can also use Essence after some backlash, but you can also pay for it. So perfect. How to update with recent features released. Okay, so they have instructions. Added a message when attempting to buy another user's property at the exact same moment the owner changes the price of said property. Now, is this like something people were doing where they would sell it and then like try to like increase the price right before someone bought it, like to get more money? Because that's kind of genius, but also kind of scummy at the same time. So I would guess that if your property is up for sale, they probably shouldn't let you change the price. A little weird that that's like something you can do. Like normally you'd probably have to like take it down and then re-put it up on the market, but I guess they do let you change the price here. It's just now they fixed it so if like a buy order goes through at the same time, then the price change doesn't happen, I guess. Fix the value of market value in property deed not displaying its currency. Okay. Fixed a grid selection, sometimes not working properly. Fixed an issue where no resource tab was showing up when selecting a property. So these are all just super basic changes that anybody would expect a company to kind of keep up with on their stuff, except this EPL thing that they added, which has virtually no use at all. So that's cool. Added disclaimer for users when upgrading or renaming an EPL. That disclaimer is probably like, hey, you know you're wasting your money, you can't sue us. And people are like, yep, whatever. Users are now unable to rename an EPL if bids are active for the selected land field. So if you have a bid on your property currently, you can't change the name of it for whatever reason, I guess. Because then you might change it to something obscene or something, I guess. I don't know. Fixed an issue when selecting buy land redirecting to an error message. So you go in there, you try to spend money, and then you couldn't. So they definitely fixed that. That's like a top priority right there. Fixed EPL's blacklist, now allowing more combinations. So they're probably preventing things like dick nibbler or something weird. So like anything profane or obscene, but they've made it more intelligent, I guess, so that it allows things that might seem obscene at first, but aren't, like maybe someone's name or something like that. All right, September 17th. Added a notification hub. Okay. I feel like that probably could have been in earlier, but whatever. Updated website UI to match new features. Okay, like this is just basic stuff. Fixed an issue not applying the EPL discount when purchasing a new EPL in specific cases. Okay, so you're spending more money than you intended. Fixed an issue with referral codes sometimes not working correctly, so now everybody can get their kickbacks for selling you the scam. Fixed an issue with the settings page and property deed not properly functioning on iOS. Okay, so something specific to iOS, however it was handling these pages with however they coded it was an issue, so they fixed that. Fantastic. And the most recent one, the 23rd of September, players can now place HoloBuildings on the map. Okay, so before they could have blueprints of HoloBuildings, which they had to pay for, but now they can actually place the HoloBuildings, which I'm going to guess they still have to pay for again, I'm assuming. Added Space Virtual Wallet. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so nothing comes up when I Google it either. What is this? Can someone tell me in the comments what Space Virtual Wallet is? What does this mean? Added option to show hide adverts, mentors, and HoloBuildings. Okay, that's cool. I guess that's a good update. Ether generated will be collectible the day after its yield. This is due to future heat map update. Okay, so I'm kind of curious what this future update is going to be. But okay, Ether generated will be collectible the day after its yield. Why isn't it collectible the day it's yielded? What? Bizarre header updated with new UI graphics rework. Sick. Updated the Mentar's 3D model showing the grid view. Okay, so Mentar's didn't have like a 3D model before, or it did have a model, but it didn't have this grid view on it, so it was just kind of out there without the grid. I guess this is just some basic stuff. Like this is probably like literally with whatever they're sending over to Mapbox, they probably just say like grid true inside the JSON or whatever they're sending. So this change is like I mean, if they wanted this in the game at the beginning, then they should have just had it, but whatever. Fixed incorrect emails and SMS when placing a bid or counter offer. So, like, were people that weren't part of the trade at all getting emailed and like texted? Because, like, that would be so annoying if I'm just getting text messages like every second because, like, I used to own a property or whatever, or a bunch of properties and now they're all selling or something. I don't really know. I wish they were more clear with how this fix was done. I guess it doesn't really matter. They fixed it, so great. Fixed an issue in the bazaar not sorting jewels by price correctly. How do you not sort them correctly? You just like you messed up the batching or what'd you do? Fixed confirmation messages when buying jewels now shows total price including fee. So before it's just like, hey, this is how much it costs, and then people are like, all right, sick, and then it just like added a fee on top, and they're like, wait, what the fuck? Okay. Visual fixes on the property page for mobile devices. Sick. Fixed an issue with the login function not properly working for some users. So you just like try to log in and it's like, nope. Fixed an issue with the HoloBuilding editor where selecting a height less than 2 meters was not correctly working. Okay. So these are really basic things. Not a lot, I guess, from what they normally add to let you spend money other than this EPL stuff. So that's an improvement. In a month, they only added one feature for people to spend. Oh, no, I lied. The HoloBuildings. Never mind. I'm just wrong. Also, I don't know what this is. So yeah, again, please tell me what this is in the comments so I actually understand what this means. Because when I Googled it, literally nothing came up. But now we have these 3 new articles to go over. And since these 2 came out on the 23rd and this one came out on the 17th, let's read about Earth 2 Network Humble Beginnings. Let's see what this even means. Today, we are excited to introduce the humble beginnings of Earth 2 Network. The Earth 2 Network will become the centralized system where information, communication, notifications, and more are delivered to our players on Earth 2. Anything of relevance to you as a player will be found inside the Earth 2 Network over time. It's just like a big update system, it sounds like. Today, the first part of the Earth 2 network will be released in the form of the Communication Hub, a place where you can conveniently receive updates on your ether detection, spawned jewels, bids, marketplace updates, and more. Okay, so before, did you just have to go through each property and just check, but now it tells you? That would have been really annoying if every single time you got something, you had to go through and then check. And then if you didn't get anything, you're just like sad. But now I guess you can sign in and it'll tell you, hey, you have this much ether today. Go collect it. Over time, the Earth 2 network will expand to include a fully fledged social media and communication platform, something which has been in the production for some time and is drawing closer to release. Okay. This always like I feel like every time they overpromise and then that's what makes people call this a scam. Also the fact that there's a lot of monetization ways in this game and it's very hard to pull out your money, but very easy to put it in. But aside from that, it's the fact that they overpromise a fully fledged social media and communication platform. So, in the most general sense, a social media platform is super easy. All they have to do basically is create like a feed of messages that then goes out into the world. Now, if they want those messages to be like specifically targeted at people, it can get a little bit more complicated, but I'm assuming it's not going to be that complicated. They're probably just going to allow like DMs and then a feed of people you follow or that you're friends with, probably, and then just general things. You might even be able to do things like hashtags, which are really common to allow this company to sort your stuff, your messages or whatever they're going to call it in this, into a way that feeds into other people's social media network for things that they're interested in, which in itself isn't that hard, but why would you need to do that yourself when there's already other things that do that, like Twitter? Like I don't know if this is necessary at all, and it seems like it's going to just take development time away from everything else. I would honestly, if I was a person invested in this game, I would rather they spend time developing actual aspects of the game, something that's actually playable, because the people in this game must be thinking, God damn, people are just constantly calling this a scam. And if there was something they could play, maybe they wouldn't think that way, or maybe I could, prove them wrong in some way. But instead, they're working on like forums or DMs and stuff like that. It just doesn't really mean much. Like, this is pretty much useless for their overall system. This notification thing is actually useful, but creating a whole social media and communication platform is useless. Like, literally, this could just be a forum, or if it's more than that, then it just takes too much time. Just make it a forum with DMs, I guess, and then just you could just copy and paste the code from somewhere else. It should take like a day. We thank you for your support and for joining us in this journey as we piece together the numerous core features necessary to make Earth 2 platform a robust, successful, player-driven geolocation metaverse. So this is just a red herring. Like, literally, this part right here doesn't do that. This doesn't make it a robust, successful, player-driven geolocational metaverse. It doesn't do that. This part right here is useless, honestly. This part is like it's a user experience thing. It's helpful for users, but it's also not necessary. And this probably should have already been in the game, if we're being honest. I'm gonna try to be charitable here because sometimes you just gotta commend people when they do something right, I guess. Otherwise, it's just too negative. But to be honest, this should have already been in the game. This this thing means nothing, and this is just fluff that means nothing because this none of this helps make this a robust, successful, player-driven geolocational metaverse. Literally, we appreciate your patience as our team continues to work on numerous other exciting Earth 2 updates and partnerships. It just takes them about 4 weeks to ever put anything major out, and even then, it's just another way for them to make money. Many of which we look forward to sharing with you, our players, soon. Yeah, I hope you do. So then the other two news things we have from Earth 2 is the HoloBuildings updates and fixes, and then the Earth 2 and Mapbox HoloBuilding press release. So I don't know which of these goes first, so I'm just going to start with this one. The Mapbox GLJS and GLDraw APIs led system gives players the first tools they need to create, edit, and deploy their Earth 2 created HoloBuilding layout. Earth 2, a metaverse platform that aims to provide a one-to-one virtual version of Earth, has announced the initial rollout of HoloBuildings, allowing players to create and place 3D buildings and structures on their claimed virtual land to customize their properties. It doesn't do anything else. HoloBuildings are much more than just a visual embellishment on the property. No, they're not. They can serve a whole range of functions to help Earth 2 players run their economies more effectively and more profitably. No, they can't. Not yet, at least. Depending on how players choose to develop their properties, HoloBuildings can support the creation of additional storage space for resources that exist at the start of the ecosystem, but this isn't in the game yet. The earlier a respective hollow building construction occurs and the larger it is, the more resources players will have retrospective access to on the respective property once the ecosim begins. Okay, so what this means is that they're going to backdate anything that you build now. So if this thing ever gets released, then building your hollow building now is going to be better because however long that hollow building was active, they're going to give you resources for. Now, there's going to be some problems with this. One is that you don't know how much you're going to get per day of resources, right? So if you build too small and you bought early, then you're kind of wasting time when you could have built bigger or something like that. And two, this is all contingent on the idea that this thing actually gets released. So you're going to spend money to make your hollow building, but you don't know if it's going to be released yet. And they don't even have resources in the game. So not only do they not have resources, they don't even begin to have this ecosystem, I would imagine that they would release resources first before this ecosystem. Maybe they'll just release it all as one large kind of update, but even then, that's probably a while away just at the pace that this company moves. It took them a month to fix some bugs from last month that we went over. So they just move at the snail speed, and this is probably never going to be in the game. So good luck spending your money, I guess. Hollow buildings are also capable of shortening the construction times and lowering the cost of ecosystem storage buildings. In the long run, the advantages of hollow buildings can massively outweigh their costs. No, they can't because they don't have any advantages yet. This is all speculative. And what we saw with the EPLs is that the creators and the guy in charge will just change things on a whim. He said the EPLs are only going to be purchased by Essence. Yeah, psych. They can also be purchased with money. So what if these things can now, you can backdate this with money, or you can increase your hollow building efficiency with money, and then you're just like, well, then why did I even spend this? It would have been cheaper for me just to build a smaller one and then upgrade it. Like, there's so much unknown about this right now that they could change it however they want, and they can just do whatever they want to incentivize people to spend more money in the most underhanded way possible. Of course, every company is going to try to get you to spend money, but when they do it so obscurely and they obfuscate like what they're actually doing, that's a problem. And I hope everyone can see that. The rollout of HoloBuildings is one part of Earth 2's ongoing goal to become the deepest platform of virtual real estate, products, and digital economic transactions that represent the real world and real world locations. This expansiveness will eventually lead to a platform filled with user generated content, concepts, and ideas by players across the world. Of course, this is just means nothing because you're saying this is the deepest platform for virtual real estates for products, digital economy, and transactions. That's all going to be user generated, okay? But the users can't generate anything right now except for the people that make this game money. That's all you generate. As a player, you literally do nothing. I guess you can make these hollow buildings now, so you can make little pretty buildings on your stuff if you want that do literally nothing right now, but might in the future get some retrospective access to stuff that they should have right now. But they release ways for you to spend money, like these hollow buildings, for the actual mechanic that the hollow building is supposed to do isn't in the game yet. And you're still gonna spend money on it? Are you high? Why would you do that? Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they release it in this order? Why do you think they do that? Is it because this is the best way to do it? Or is it because they want money? Think about it. As we're ramping up and improving all processes, we need the right partners to help us achieve our ambitious goals, and we're extremely pleased to have forged such a close working relationship with Mapbox moving forward, said Shane Isaac, founder of Earth 2. Okay. I mean, their relationship is purely business, right? They just purchase the Mapbox utilities. Okay, the rollout of the Hollow Buildings clearly demonstrates our intention to support and promote player creativity by way of user-generated content, which can not only look good but serves further purpose inside the Earth 2 simulation. No, no, dude, that's not true. Like, that doesn't prove anything. It doesn't demonstrate or support this idea. All it demonstrates and supports is that there was a really easy thing for you to implement to make money, and that's what you did. It doesn't demonstrate fuck all when it comes to player driven economies or user generated content. It doesn't mean anything for that. We're thrilled to be providing this next step in Hollow Buildings to our players today while we continue to work internally on our Phase 3 realistic and user friendly 3D creative editors. Why are you working on this when you haven't even finished the Phase 2 stuff, such as resources? Virtual land and real estate on Earth 2 holds real world value and can be traded for actual currency. This is the first step towards creating an economy that will support and sustain Earth 2's long term vision. I mean, literally, they're just saying, give us more money. Earth 2 is a great example of how our leading edge location and mapping technologies are leveraged to support a robust metaverse and hyper connected community. What? Earth 2 uses our latest satellite imagery 3D and our Mapbox tiling service to process massive amounts of transactional data, which is then rendered into heat maps across Earth 2's entire globe every 4 hours. Okay, so let me tell you how this means nothing. So, Earth 2 is a great example of how our leading edge location and mapping technologies are leveraged to support a robust metaverse. There's no metaverse, there's just tiles on a grid. Okay, this entire thing has been done before. Google Earth exists. The only thing that's The only thing that's unique about this, and it isn't even unique because other companies had done this before Earth 2, but the only thing that isn't already existing within the Mapbox technology is the idea that they can now buy and sell portions of that map. Okay, you just they just stored different longitudes and latitudes in a database somewhere and said this is this square, this is this square. Let's let people purchase those sections of the map. That's not robust metaverse. That's not a hyper connected community. That doesn't mean anything. Earth 2 uses latest satellite imagery, 3D, and our Mapbox tiling service. Yeah, who cares? Like they use satellite imagery. Okay. 3D, they can draw some shapes on the screen. You could do that in Sims 2. Our Mapbox tiling service to process massive amounts of transactional data. Okay, so again, this isn't anything that Earth 2 made. So you're basically saying to the people reading this that Earth 2 didn't do anything. They didn't even Earth 2, the people who made Earth 2 didn't even develop the transactional part of this entire thing, right? So they're probably using some third party to manage the actual processing of the money and the storing of your credentials. And then the actual splitting of the property is done by Mapbox. So Earth 2 has done nothing but make this website and then just utilize the APIs in this weird way. So thank you for telling me that the Earth 2 developers have done actually nothing. Okay, said Peter Sirota, CEO of Mapbox. Earth 2's recent launch of HoloBuildings enables a powerful user-generated content capability. Dude, you can literally do this in Paint. Open up 3D Paint, or open up any CAD like development tool, and you can do this right now. This isn't unique. This isn't a powerful user-generated content. This doesn't mean anything. Literally, go download Blender and then make something that's way cooler than anything you can make with these HoloBuildings. Look at this. There's no color. There's like the shapes are pretty basic. You can't do as much as you can with actual CAD systems. So, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a mark on Mapbox or Earth 2. It's just to market in this way is so disingenuous. Like this would be fine if they're just like, yeah, we have these things, they're free to make. You can put them on your property, and then when we actually launch a game, then they'll put some resources in there. But since they make it spendable, this would actually also be okay if resources were already in the game and this gave you resources, and then you could use those resources to do other things. But you can't. Like you can't even use the resources to make the HoloBuildings. You literally only use HoloBuildings to store resources and to do some economic stuff maybe in the future. So all this stuff is speculative. All this stuff is charged to you by the Earth 2 developers who didn't develop any of this, and then they market it like it's some crazy user-generated content. What? Go make something in Paint and then post it on Twitter. That's basically the same thing. We look forward to supporting Earth 2 as they continue to innovate. Yeah. And launch new features today and in the future. Okay. Yeah. This is disgustingly bad marketing. It's just so scummy the way that they say these things, and I wish that people weren't so blind to what they're saying. They just get bought into this like marketing crap that means absolutely nothing, and it's just like, come on, think harder. All right, now we have this other one here. So today marks the second part of the official release of HoloBuildings on Earth 2. This release now allows players to place permanent HoloBuildings on their properties, which, in addition to creating more visual appeal, will provide players with a variety of benefits inside the Earth 2 ecosim over time. Not in the game. Subsequent releases will allow players to construct HoloBuildings using Essence. So in the future, they're like, in the future you can use Essence, but right now you got to use real hard money. Okay. And provide a marketplace where players can sell their HoloBuilding blueprint designs. Oh, I bet you, yeah, and of course they're gonna get a kickback from this marketplace. So woo! Once constructed, HoloBuildings improve the appearance of a property, but also serve as storage space from the point in time. This isn't really true yet. I guess they can make it retrospective, like they said in the previous article, but we don't know if they actually will. So good luck. Storage space and volume space alone will be of value inside Earth 2 throughout Phase 2, Phase 3, and beyond. Maybe. After the launch of the economic simulation, HoloBuildings will retain their function as extra storage and significantly increase the amount of raw materials and building blocks a player's property can hold. What does significantly mean, right? Is it 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x, 0.5x? Like how much more? They don't say because the less they tell you, the more likely you are to spend money on the speculation of how good it's going to be. In addition to the above benefit, and again, once the economic simulation launches, players with pre-constructed hollow buildings will have a head start by receiving the option to retrospectively produce or replicate essence into the maximum number of collective resources that would have been available on that property throughout the period of time since the hollow building was created. Okay, so let's break this down. So they're saying that once this economic simulation thing begins, then you get the option. It's an option to retrospectively produce or replicate essence into the maximum number of collective resources. So they're hoping that you speculate that the essence is going to be valuable in the future, which it's not right now. Essence doesn't do anything. And then that is going to allow you to, I guess, buy more stuff or get more resources. I don't know. They don't really say at all, right? They just, so before they were saying that it's going to allow you to retrospectively get resources. Now they're saying it's going to retrospectively let you get essence. Maybe it's both, maybe it's neither, maybe it's one or the other. We don't really know because they suck at delivering information every single time. But also, this actually makes me think essence isn't going to be a crypto, okay? So, if this is a crypto, there's no shot they'd let people retrospectively just get it from stuff that didn't mine it at all. Like usually to get a crypto, you're going to have to mine that. And to do that, sometimes you can buy like nodes from the company and then they exist like theoretically they exist on the platform. So in Earth 2, they would be like you would put them on one of your properties probably, but really you're just basically paying the upfront cost to create that server so they can mine it for you and then you can get the crypto that way, or you just purchase the crypto as like individual currency, but very rarely do you actually get it for free in any kind of way. And even in instances where you do get it for free, it's usually in super, super limited amounts. So I would, at this point, I'd be pretty surprised if Essence ever becomes a cryptocurrency. And if it does, I'd be surprised if anyone has any meaningful amount of Essence at all. You're probably going to have like pennies of it if you have this like hollow building for like a year. For now, hollow buildings can be constructed using money, real hard cash from the real world, and we feel the advantages they will provide long term will undoubtedly justify their low construction costs. So they're saying they're low in comparison to the value they'll provide, but we don't know what that value is. Low is completely subjective, so I don't know how much it is. It's $10, $15, $30, whatever it is. That's completely subjective, and it's entirely contingent on the value they provide, which they haven't said at all. They just say that it's going to give you essence and it's going to give you resources, maybe. So, but they didn't tell you how much or like how much storage a certain amount of a hollow building has. So they don't really say anything. We do have plans for essence to be used to construct hollow buildings. Yeah, I don't. This would be so easy for them to implement now. So the fact that they're dragging their feet on it and saying that it's hard, or that they're working on it, or that they have plans for it is just they're lying, literally, and are working on updates to make this available to our players. No, they're not. They could have done this already, and they're just dragging their feet on it so people spend money. We will continue to update players on further specifics around the benefits of hollow buildings when details are ready for release. Other updates, fixes, and notes. Various fixes have been made to previous hollow building editor. Ether generated will be collectible the day after its yield. This is due to the heat map update we have planned, which will identify high ether and essence production areas. The first part of our bazaar UI redesign is live, with the header being updated. Do you know what a header is? A header is like this right here. So they made this look prettier, or they changed the wording on it, okay? That's what a header is. The filter on sorting jewels by price has been fixed. Again, how do you mess that up? An update to the Mentar design on the grid has been deployed to improve appearance. Sick. Options to toggle adverts, Mentar's properties, and buildings views. Sick. Okay, so we've learned today that the Earth 2 developers are still slow as hell. We've also learned that a lot of the stuff that they previously had said that they did develop, they actually didn't, which we actually knew before with how they had marketed the hollow building thing. They had said it was an Earth 2 designed and developed tool when really they just ripped it from Mapbox. So we knew that they were liars, but we now see just how deep that line goes, and we see how incompetent the developers are and how little they've actually done on the product. And we can see that their marketing is as predatory as ever. So, hey, if you disagree with me, leave a comment. If you do agree with me, leave a comment too because it helps me in the algorithm. But also, like and consider subscribing to the channel because I go over Earth 2 stuff like this a lot. I'm getting pretty sick of these developers with how they're wording this, or I guess the marketers or the PR people in this case, or maybe just the creator himself. Either way, I'm sick of this company and I'm tired of them lying to people. I'm tired of their weird ass stands just coming in my comments and then lying about me too. That's really annoying. Hey, if you come in here and lie, I won't delete your comment, but I will respond, as you know, some of you other Earth 2 fanboys know. But either way, that's all for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.